Like that is one of the things we're trying to do here is get some enjoyment back into farming, right? The only way we're gonna appeal to a younger generation or continue to keep our children on the family farm is it has to be fun. And we've done that by allowing them to have some skin in the game. You know, if they're invested in this, not just financially, but emotionally. So now they can come out and they can see their own cow. That cow has a name. You know, it almost becomes a friend to them. They're just checking up on them.
We really enjoy just having our space, being able to raise our kids out here where they can literally roam wild and just enjoy life. They're not cooped up in a backyard and we have to worry about traffic. They're out exploring and playing with the piglets and trying to catch a chicken. And it also, yeah, just teaches them responsibility. They all have chores like washing and collecting eggs, and they help us in the garden.
Gucci? Cool. Hello, I'm Kaycee Robinson. I'm 27 years old and I live in Grand Prairie, Alberta. I'm actually originally from Merritt, BC, so I grew up in a pretty small town and a lot of my friends lived on farms. Myself, however, I was always stuck in town and kind of wishing and dreaming about having that future for myself, and up until this year that wasn't possible, but I'm very grateful to finally be out here. I've got 10 beautiful acres of land, a couple critters already, and yeah, it's definitely been interesting over the last few months getting everything set up. So career-wise, I'm a certified personal trainer as well as a certified nutrition coach. So I do online coaching with clients all over the world. So I actually just recently heard about regenerative farming through my friend Kelsey, and he was actually putting together something with some very bright individual to really kind of go over what it really entails and what it looks like. And I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to, you know, learn a little bit more for myself, see how I can work that into my farm, into my property. So I decided to jump in and join the project. So I'm excited to learn and bring what I learned back here.
Okay, so my name's Donovan Kitt, and I farm on the Homestead, is the name of our farm, with my wife Lisa and our two boys, Murray and Everett, and my dad's here as well. And the reason we call it the Homestead is when Lisa and I, we first bought our first piece of land in 2015, and it was a kind of a classic homestead. It was 160 acres, and in order to get your land title, you needed to clear at least 30. So it was 160 acres of bush with a 30 acre field cleared. And so of that cleared land, they took all the logs, built a cabin, and so we lived for 3 or 4 years in like a 1-room log cabin, no running water, no power, and we just had like a hand pump in the middle of the house, and that was where we got our water from. And so we just referred to it as the Homestead, and I guess it stuck. Like once you start calling yourself a name, then that's the name. Got a few chickens off the hop, and then a few sheep and a few pigs. And when you're hand pumping water, like chickens, not too bad. Sheep, they don't drink too much. Pigs drink a little bit more. But then we got a few cows, and it's like really hard to keep up to to hand pumping for a cow. Like they can drink faster than you can pump it. So yeah, we had that 160 acres, and 2019 we had to make a choice, like if we were going to kind of say use that farm as a stepping stone, and then move on to the farm that I grew up on, which my dad was on. So we decided to do that, and we sold that farm to a couple friends that are doing great, and they're raising their family there, and they're loving it. But yeah, we built a house here, and then expanded our cattle herd, and we kind of amalgamated our pig operation with my dad's, and we started doing a bunch of pastured poultry and expanded that. And one thing that we've been really focusing on lately is grass-finished beef with Galloway cattle. And so we've grown the herd almost, yeah, close to doubled it. and we have about 35 breeding animals right now, and we direct market everything. We don't sell any live animals, we just sell steaks.
So what exactly are you doing here with these cows?
Well, we're turning this grass into beef.
Turn this grass into beef. And what's up with these hay bales here? They're not stacked or?
Yeah, so this is, we do something, it's called Bale grazing.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like we move our cows, you know, like every day in the summer. But in the winter, what we do is we lay out all the winter feed. So that's all these bales. And we lay that out in the grid, and then we move them depending on the weather. Like we'll move them every week, every 10 days.
Yeah.
So you just give them a line of bales. We have an electric fence that goes in between those bales. And then so they just only will eat what you give them.
Yeah.
And then also when it's cold like that, you don't want to be running a tractor.
Yeah, no.
Right? Because the cold's hard on equipment.
Yeah.
So what's neat is like we take them out the bales off the field, we bring them out here, we line them up, and then like that's it. No more tractor. Like we won't have to start a tractor to feed bales from basically now until well, we like ever.
Yeah.
Until we hay again, right?
Yeah.
Move more bales out here.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty cool because then you don't have to start that equipment in the winter and like plug it in and then, yeah, burn all that diesel fuel. And what else is neat is because so you're moving cows to bales, not bales to cows.
Yeah.
And so these cows, they are going to, you can see how everything's really nicely gridded out and they're really evenly spaced.
Yeah.
And so if you were to look at an aerial photo actually of this pasture that we're on right now, you'll be able to see like every single bale and there's kind of like a green ring around it.
Yeah.
And so what that does is that when the cows eat all that hay, it like really evenly distributes like all of the urine and manure and like leftover hay, and it turns like the worst part of the field into the best part of the field like in 1 year. So I can show you what I mean.
Yeah.
This is what that field looked like last year.
Wow.
Right? Like, isn't that pretty stark? So this is what we would like last year. This is what this field looked like. And then you feed hay on it. And now,
it's almost like doubled in size.
Oh, like there's 10 times more forage here.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can even feel it like under your feet.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say
it's soft.
It's like bouncy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see how there's some leftover hay.
Yeah.
And so what that does, like that'll decompose and that just becomes topsoil. And so like really quickly, you're building, like you can really increase the amount of topsoil you have on your land.
Yeah.
And then also this, like more topsoil, more organic matter, like that really positively influences the amount of water that land can hold too. Because your water is held up in your organic matter, in your soil, like your carbon in your soil.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, if you have a hard, like a big rain event or, you know, like the spring melt, like that's all going to be held in your soil rather than like running off.
Yeah.
And so it makes your land a lot more resilient. So Lisa showed you chickens.
Yep.
You saw pigs.
Pigs.
You saw ducks.
Turkeys.
Turkeys.
Yeah. First time seeing turkeys ever.
Oh yeah?
I was a little scared.
Yeah. So those turkeys, they're called Beltsville. They're like one of the most endangered turkeys species out there.
Those are the white ones.
The white
right?
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So we started raising those because they look like a normal bird, but they're quite a bit smaller. And we just raised a few of them. My dad loves turkeys.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if there were no turkeys on the farm, it'd make them pretty sad. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we hatch them all on the farm here too.
Oh, I didn't know
so,
that.
So yeah, we have breeding pairs and.
Yeah. So at my small farm, I've got quite a few acres of canola field right now.
Okay.
How could I turn that into something like this?
Yeah. So, do you have cows?
No.
Oh, you
No.
need cows.
Yeah. I think I need some cows.
But another cool way, like when we're just starting out, is just with pigs.
Yeah.
You know, you get some pigs,
I've got
train
two
them to an
pigs.
electric fence,
Yeah.
right? And they're like edible rototillers.
Yeah.
And they'll go through and they'll like work all that up, you know, and then you go in behind them and you can kind of smooth it all. Or if it's already cultivated, you could put in a cover crop like peas and oats and the pigs will just love it. And they'll like chew all that up and they'll work it into the soil. And then you can kind of make it a nice seed bed and seed it to something else that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for coming out, Kaycee. And,
No.
like your interest in this project. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've learned a lot. Yeah, definitely a lot. So hopefully I can take a lot of it back, utilize it on my much smaller scale farm, but nonetheless.
Well, that's how they start.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully get some cows.
Sweet. Speaking of cows, any of these suit your fancy? You can, if you want We sell custom sides.
That one right there.
This one licking itself?
Right here, yeah.
Okay.
That's the one.
All right. The blank tag.
Yeah.
She's all yours.
So just getting ready to have a quick bite here, but I'm kind of just reminiscing on this whole experience and, you know, the little takeaways from everywhere that I've been. Thinking of Donovan and Lisa, they had a lot more animals than I've seen yet. So they had pigs, they had turkeys, they had chickens, ducks, geese, cows, of course. And it was really cool seeing, you know, the difference with like the fencing styles, because they're using, of course, electric fencing, right? So you're seeing these giant pigs and just one little wire keeping them in. And I thought that was pretty crazy because these are big, strong animals. And they just have one little wire keeping them in and easy to move around again. And it was really cool seeing like the difference in grass where they had been. Also seeing like how the hay bales came into play with that, right? So moving the cows to the hay bales instead of moving the hay to the cows. That was really cool to see. It really just kind of goes to show what kind of a benefit this can have. And I definitely think it's something that I'm going to be, you know, utilizing at my small scale farm here. So I'm excited to get some electric fencing and get to work.